Hello, everybody. My name is Franklin with First Thousand Hours, and I'm really happy today because I get to do this live stream with you, and I get to talk to you about my live stream progress. And sorry, that's what happens when you go live. Sometimes I kind of say the wrong thing. I'm here to talk to you about my reading progress in quarter number 3, and I also want to talk to you a little bit more about Spanish reading and other things in general. And so this is my first time doing this live stream from my computer on a certain topic. Now I just did a live stream test and all of that last week, but I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you today. So just bear with me just 1 second. I just want to see how this is going. If you're having any problems hearing me or having any audio difficulties, just let me know. And I hope that everything is going okay. I tried to test it out before I did this, but I am learning and growing as I keep on doing things. Um, all right, and please let me know if the stream is buffering or lagging or anything like that. Okay, so I want to just let you know how I have done. Um, and what I did is I actually read 357 pages for quarter number 3. So I was reading this book. It's called El Deseado de Todas las Gentes. This book has the title El Deseado de Todos los Siglos. It's basically the same thing. It means the desire of ages. That's the English translation. And so El Deseado de Todas las Gentes is like the desire of the people. Okay, so this is a pretty big book. You might not be able to see the thickness of that, but this is something that I wanted to do. I had read, sorry about that. I had read, let me turn back the screen over here, sorry. I had read El Hogar Cristiano, and I finished that, and then I was reading this one, El Deseado de Todas las Gentes, and I read these books electronically with LingQ. And if you've been here on First Thousand Hours, you know that I like to use LingQ to help me read books faster. Um, Now I had this big goal, and I have a big goal. I'm not sure if I'm going to meet it. I would say probably not at this point, to be very honest with you. And that goal was to read 12 books in this year. So I haven't finished. I haven't finished my second book. So I could really be down on myself and be like, "Oh man, I didn't finish my second book. It's all a loss or whatever." But I don't look at it that way. I would like to let you know how much I've read totally. I've read 1,100 and basically approximately 1,115 total pages this year. And so I think that kind of puts things in perspective. When you do like one little thing, it might not seem like you're doing a lot, but when you keep on going day and in and day out, it adds up to a lot over time. And what I should have done is I should have made my goal based on pages instead of a book, because El Deseado de Todas las Gentes is bigger than Hogar Cristiano. I mean, this book has over 800 pages, where El Hogar Cristiano has like about 500 pages. It's like 499 pages. And so, sometimes I don't want to read the small books. I want to read what I want to read. And so it works best for me if I look at things in pages, because if I had, basically read 100-page books and that's it, then I would have read almost 12 books at this point, because I've read, again, 1,115 total pages this year in Spanish. So like I said, I'm not disappointed even if I don't meet my goal. I am planning still, after I finish reading El Deseado de Todas las Gentes, to read smaller books like this one. This probably will be my third book, El Gozo de Vivir. Now I wanted to read this book basically at the end of this quarter, but hey, this quarter is over. Basically, we have just a few more hours and it's over. And some people in other places already are in October. But this is a very short book. Let's see how many pages this one has. Um, if I go to the appendix, it's only like 126 pages, so it's a very short book. This is talking about health, so that would be nice. And I forgot to tell you what the other books that I read this year is about. Hogar Cristiano, that's called, basically the English title is, or I should say the Spanish title here is The Christian Home. And then also El Deseado de Todas las Gentes, or El Deseado de Todos los Siglos, is basically the desire of ages. I said that already, but it's about the life of Christ. Excellent book that I've been blessed by in reading that as well. I wanted to give you some other statistics about my reading progress as well that I think you'll be finding pretty interesting, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. I've been like fighting with this live stream to kind of give the best quality that I could in all of this. And so what I wanted to show you was some statistics of reading that are a little bit more in depth, and for that I'm going to go to LingQ. And again, this is a tool that I use to read faster. And so if you want to get LingQ, I will put an affiliate link to LingQ in the description of this video when the live stream ends. And I have also videos that I will link to as well to give you an overview of what is LingQ and all of that. And that can help you read not only faster in Spanish, but other things as well. And I think a big part of that, in my opinion, is I like to use tools that are going to help the language become more comprehensible. And if the language is more comprehensible, I get to understand more. So I'm not afraid or I don't have a problem with using other tools. Okay, so I'm going to change this screen, and like I said, I'm still getting used to Streamlabs and all this, but I'm going to change the screen to show you my my PC. All right, so you're seeing Streamlabs right now. I'm going to switch this over to LingQ, and hopefully you still can see this. So this, if you look at the right over here, you should see this where my cursor is. You will see how many words I read today. So it's like, okay, how many words did Franklin read today? I read 3,424 words today. And then my known word count grew as well. And basically that is telling you, my known word count is basically the words that, you know, LingQ believes I know now based on the way I read. And so it's good to, I think, because LingQ counts variance of words, to divide that count by 3. And so if you divide that by 3, that's going to be over, if you look at the fact that I have 23,321 known words, that would be over 7,000 known words if you divide that by 3. Okay, so that just keeps on growing as time progresses. You can look at this graph over here. I should show you this. So you can see part of the time, you know, in the last 7 days where I have maybe read a little bit more. You can see this like over here. You can see how the graph grows a little bit, and it kind of shows you that there have been times where I've read more than other times. I'll show you like in the last 30 days how the graph has been, and you can see kind of here like the daily progress and the blue graph showing you like there's some peaks. And you can see at the beginning here, I really put a lot of effort into increasing my known word count. And yeah, so I realized, I was like, oh man, I'm in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry, I'm in the third quarter, the last month of the third quarter, and let me kind of really pay attention to that and put more effort in that. But I've had different projects, different side projects, and different things I've been doing. Some things that were side projects in Spanish, some things were side projects and other things. So I haven't maybe put as much effort as I've wanted to do in September, but at least I keep on going. And I think the motto, or one of the mottos of First 1,000 Hours is to not give up. And that's so important to do. And let me just change this back to my face so you can see my face as I talk about this. I started like my first video, the first public video, the rolling R video, was about not giving up, and it's still the case today, because I could say, oh, you know, I only am successful in language learning if I reach my goal of reading 12 books. But it's important to have goals, it's important to have ambition, but a lot of times the reason why we don't get to the next level is because we stop. And I've done that in my life. I've stopped doing things, that are good to do in all of this, and because of that, I haven't reached where I should be at this point in my life. And so with Spanish, even if it takes me a little bit longer to maybe get to the goal than I was anticipating, at least I can keep on going. And I encourage you to do the same. All right, I want to show you a little bit more statistics here with LingQ. So I'm going to go back and showing you my computer screen. And so you saw the last 30 days. I want to go back over here and I will show you the last 3 months, because that's what we're talking about, right? Quarter number 3. So if you can see right here, I have read 132,863 words of reading. And my known word count has grown by almost 2,000 according to LingQ. That's not dividing it by 3. I'm just going by what LingQ says at this moment in time. And you might be wondering, okay, since I've had LingQ, which was sometime last year, how many words have I read in Spanish with LingQ counting? That's not all the words I've read in Spanish, but based on the LingQ count of the things that I've read with LingQ. And that is, you can see it right here, 745,093 words. So it's not exactly a million at this moment in time, but it's getting closer and closer basically every day. And you can even see if you look at this daily graph, and what I'll do is I'll put this hopefully for, the last 3 months. If you look at this graph, the daily graph, it just basically shows you that I read basically every day. And I have been reading with LingQ to read Deseado de Todas, Gentes. And so I could even show you last month. There's not one part of last month where you see this drop where I don't read anything. It might not be a lot in Spanish, but I've kept up even last month and this month. And so you see that cumulative effort being able to get me to reading 1,115 pages. And then this will show you the graph of all time and all of that. And so you'll see different fluctuation and all of that. Okay. And then I have this now at all time as well. One other thing you can look at, if I go back to the last 3 months, when you look at hours of listening, I didn't put a lot of hours of listening in. I thought I was going to listen to Desire of Ages or El Deseado de Todas las Gentes while I was reading. But then I was thinking, you know what? With the book I was using, I like it. As far as I like the audio, honestly, I like the audio when the person's reading, but then there's a lot of music in between. And so I was like, you know what? If I'm going to listen to an audiobook, I just want to listen to someone narrating it. And so I thought it was kind of slowing me down, so I just stopped listening to that audiobook. But I think that gives you a pretty comprehensive overview of kind of what I have done in my reading progress. Now, this is not all of what I have done. I have done other things with LingQ and all of that. I'm sorry, I've done other things not with LingQ, but in Spanish outside of reading. Like I've helped with some translation things. I got to help with translation of some Spanish bookmarks, and man, I could almost show them to you. Now I wish I could pause the stream and actually show them to you, but maybe at another time, because now I have this nice webcam to use, and so I could do that at another time. I've still watched some different Spanish YouTube videos, and I've gone to Spanish church. So I've still immersed myself outside of reading. And I've also even went to Spanish church, and I got invited to eat this Spanish dish that I've never tried before. So I like that as well. So I get to continue to grow in different aspects in Spanish. Okay, so I had some other things I wanted to say. Oh yeah, talking about reading, I want to show you my screen again because I want to show you one of the members or one of the people here at First 1,000 Hours. I want to show you this comment from Slappy White 20. Hopefully you can see this on the screen. But I want to read at least some of this comment. Now, this was on my video called LingQ versus Duolingo, which language learning software is better? And so this is what Slappy White said. Thanks for sharing, Franklin. You nailed it in this video. I'll kind of read more. And then it says, I have read almost 3 million words on LingQ in Spanish, and now I have a level of comfort and fluency in Spanish that I can't see possible using Duolingo. Now, obviously, Duolingo has a purpose, I believe, and I talk about that in my LingQ versus Duolingo page, but I really wanted to, instead of just talking about so much Slappy White's opinion about Duolingo, it's more about the fact that Slappy White has read over Slappy White, he or she, has read almost 3 million words on LingQ in Spanish. And so because of that, the fluency increased with Slappy White. And I had a conversation one time on a live stream with Slappy White, and Slappy White was able to go to a foreign country, and because of taking that time to immerse in Spanish, utilizing resources that Slappy White had, then when Slappy White went to a foreign country, it was not that hard to speak in Spanish. And that's the kind of idea of First 1,000 Hours, where you can actually take that time to, utilize the time that you have and utilize the resources you have in whatever country you are, as long as you have like a smartphone, internet access, headphones are nice as well. You can go far. And I believe also incorporating trust in God, prayer, and things like that as well. Doing everything in your power to accomplish, reading and all of I'm sorry, not reading, but learning the language, and then also trusting in God to help as well. Both of those are a very powerful combination. And I think that's basically how God works. We also need to, there's a part for us to play as well. And so that's some of the premises of First 1,000 Hours. So talking about reading, maybe some people are watching this live stream or the live stream replay. Actually at this point, no one's watching the live stream to my knowledge, at least for what Streamlabs is saying. But for those who might be watching the replay, I just want to let you know that even if you think that you can never read, you can read in a foreign language. And I really want to encourage you by showing you this book. This is the first book that I started with, and I talked about this on First 1,000 Hours. Now, when I started First 1,000 Hours, I had thought that I was going to do more of a podcast. I was not thinking about video. I was like, okay, what I'll do is I'll do a podcast, and then I'll just throw up the podcast on YouTube. But then my computer broke, and I just was like, okay, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to flip it. I'm going to actually use YouTube more than thinking about trying to do a podcast. So I focused more on video. So when I put this video about reading my first Spanish book, Camino, Cristo, the English title is called Steps to Christ, I wasn't thinking that I was going to be showing videos and all of this, but I really want to show some pictures I haven't shown you. So I'm going to I'm going to show you another view from another camera, because I want to give you a deep view of this so that you can be encouraged no matter what stage you are, that you can read. All right. So I'm switching this to my phone camera, and you might be like, what in the world is happening? So this is upside down now. Okay, good. Now you can see El Camino Cristo, right? And I'm just going to open up some random pages here. And so hopefully this can focus a little bit so that you can get kind of like a good view of this. And so this kind of shows you, like, there are a lot of places, basically all the parts of the book where I didn't know that much in the book. I was just struggling to read this book, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And so I had the premise that if you can read a sentence, you can read a book. Because if you can read a sentence, you can read a paragraph. If you can read a paragraph, you can read a page. And if you can read a page, you can read a book, 100-page book, in like 5 months. And so you can look at all of the things that I had to kind of write down as I was using Google Translate almost in every single sentence, so that this book could be more and more comprehensible. Now, you might not be able to read my chicken scratch, but this basically is showing you the words that I had to look up so that these sentences could make some sense to myself. Now, I'm reading with LingQ now, so it's a lot easier. And I would recommend that if you are not reading with LingQ, at least consider using the Google Translate web extension. And I should be able to make a video about that, especially now because I have this new computer, to show you how to use that. But either way, even if you don't use all that and you just start like I did without any of those type of programs, I use Google Translate web extension. I'm sorry, I use Google Translate, not the web extension, but Google Translate, and just have my paperback book. And then I also had, I had a digital version of this as well that I was reading just on a PDF off my phone, and I was able to make the progress to finally read this book. And this book was like the foundation, the confidence builder for me to be able to say, you know what, I can read in Spanish. And so there's still time in this year, if you haven't picked up a book, to pick up a book and say, you know what, I'm going to finish out 2019 with a bang. I'm going to read my first book in Spanish, or whatever language you're trying to do. And you can take that not just page by page, take that thing sentence by sentence and accomplish things. Now, if you want to read, and I'll just switch my screen again. If you want to read El Camino, Cristo, or if you want to read El Deseado de Todas las Gentes, or if you want to read Hogar Cristiano, I will put links to, especially, I would say I'm going to put links to this one. I would recommend reading this one first. And I will have the audio book as well that you can read. That you can listen to. I really like the audio book of this one, and you can get that for free as well as the book for free. You could either use, like, import it into LingQ. I've had videos to show you how to do that, or you can import that. Or you can be reading that using the Google Translate web extension, which is pretty powerful too. And then for those that want to read like a bigger book, I recommend doing that after reading something like this. It's just nice to read a small book and say, oh man, I started, I finished it, and now, I can just do so many other things. And then you might want to also try to read this book, El Deseado de Todas las Gentes. And I'll just show you some other books that I've read in the past. Let's see, I have read those. And I had this one right here, Palabras de Vida del Gran Maestro. This is a book that I read last year in Spanish. And I should say this as well, okay? Again, I'm just on book 2 right now, and I was like, I'm going to read 12 books, and that's what I want to do. But now if I think about last year, I read 6 books, right? And so this year, starting out this year, if I add what I read last year and I combine that with what I will have read this year, it's going to be at least 8 books, right? Because I should be able to finish this other book. I have around 200 more pages or so to go to read, to finish up El Deseado de Todas las Gentes, but I should be able to do that based on the reading progress I have already done. But there's a big possibility that I will be reading other books. Let's say I just read 4 books this year. That means that I will have read, at the end of this year, 10 books in Spanish. And I'm starting out the next year on, I think, even with more confidence and saying, yes, I can do more things. I'm already thinking about things that I could potentially do next year and some different goals for myself. I will definitely have reading goals, but even I'm going to probably put another component to that in there as well. And the quote that comes to my mind when I think about all this different progress is something that Sean Cannell said on his Think Media channel, and he says this often, and I kind of quoted him, but I'm going to say the same thing again. A lot of times we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but then we underestimate what we can do in 3 years. And so when you continue to not give up and you continue to pursue something and you continue to pursue your language goals in a serious manner, you can be surprised at the progress that will happen after 3 years or after your first 1,000 hours. And again, I like to talk about hours over years, but years do have something to play with it. But really, it's better to look at your time and hours that you spend with your language that you're learning. So I hope that you like this. Um, and I think I talked to you about my books that I wanted to share. Uh, and I still now I said like I need to have a good bedtime and all of that last quarter. I think I keep on saying that that's a reoccurring theme, and guess what? I still need to have a good bedtime. And you see this? I'm going to show you some other things that I said I wanted to do. If you look at the Spanish progress book, I had here. Actually, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my phone out again, and hopefully, what I can do is I'm going to actually show you part of this if I can. Yes, I can. This is pretty cool. I like live streaming. It's really fun. So let me go ahead and show you this. So right here is where I was just writing down my progress. And so we had quarter number. Let's see, quarter number 3 was July, August, September. Yeah, July, August, September. So I have. Okay, so you can see this. This is I had September. That's 2018, so it's a long time ago. But then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write things down so I have something there. July 2nd, and as you can probably see, I like to type better than I like to write for probably a good reason, because my writing is not the best. And so it says like, okay, I started at page 259. Yeah, that's from July 2nd, 259. I stopped at 263. So you know what? That's just like 4 pages that day. And so I still have things July 8th. I'm getting pretty consistent, right, with what I'm writing. And then I just stop here, July 28th, 2019. And then I have no idea. Okay, yeah, July 28th. I have no idea why that was July 16th. I guess I went to the wrong page and I didn't erase that. But that was the extent of me writing down things. I might try to do this again and use this paper book and all that to kind of write down things, but I haven't really done my progress like just writing it down. I've more so documented my progress probably by doing first 1,000 hours, talking to my language motivational partner, and all of that. But I think it probably is still good to write down progress. It's just I haven't done it. I think I need to get in a better routine of doing things, even though I'm reading, as you can tell, I'm reading and all of that, but I need to get into a little bit better routine, I think, still. And one of the things I really liked about this quarter is I've said like I sometimes watch Martha Emerson videos, and they're about online business and marketing. And there was one video I watched in particular. I just saw it on YouTube in my notification feed, and I just clicked on it. I forgot the title of the video, but I just watched it, right? And there was no hesitation where I was thinking, oh man, this is in Spanish. Oh, I can't watch it because it's in Spanish. Or actually, I want to think like that. But I'm saying there was no hesitation where I was thinking, oh, well, this is in Spanish. Should I watch it, or should I just continue with English speaking videos? But because Spanish is more and more and more familiar to me, then it's a lot easier for me to click on videos that are in Spanish without thinking about it. And there's that foundation of reading and listening combined together that really is helpful. And I would really recommend that if you haven't tried that, take a book apart and read it. Again, read El Camino, Cristo. This is like the nice copy. This is the one I like, because if you can see this, I should show this to you again. Just a minute. You see this right here? I'm gonna have it upside down. Sorry about that. You see that? That's sweat and blood right there. It's just worn out and all of that. That's nice. I mean, if you're gonna have a physical book, use it to the point where it just gets worn out in the cover and all of that. And I think that you'll like that. All right, let me switch this back here. And let's see, some other things I can say is that I'm really looking forward to an upcoming video that I want to do. Now, I just want to whet your appetite just a little bit for this, as I think I'm about to close. I I interviewed in December of 2018, almost a year ago, someone by the name of Samuel Francis. As I went to this youth conference, both of us went to this youth conference called Generation of Youth for Christ, and I was just able to interview him about how he got to a high level in Spanish. We laughed a lot, we had a lot of fun, but he gave a lot of things I think are going to be helpful for people, especially that are thinking about language learning in the context not only of 2019, but even thinking about 2020 and trying to have the right mentality of a serious language learner. And so, if that video comes out, then I will put it up here in a card for you to go ahead and click on. And I hope that you will continue in your language learning journey. My name is Franklin, and this is for 1000hours.com.